السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأهلا وسهلا بكم طلاب الأعزاء في معهد آيلتس للدراسات والحلول التعليمية وكل المشتركين في قناة آيلتس للدراسات والحلول التعليمية. في هذا المقطع الفيديو سوف نشرح Explicit Business Writing اللي هي كتابة الأعمال، وسوف نأخذ في كل مقطع model من 5 models of explicit business writing. Now we are going to talk about an email, and later we are going to talk about a letter and a memo, and two versions of short reports ونموذجين للتقارير القصيرة written in English. They illustrate the best practices الممارسات الافضل explained in this book that any business writer can use to create 100% clear documents for 100% of the readers 100% of the time, which means explicit professional writing. The explanation of the best practices follow the four of the models الأربعة النماذج that we are going to talk about. We're gonna start about the best practices for explicit email, and we're gonna see here what the writer has done as a best practice in this email. Here the writer of this email assumed the reader's email system would show typography and formatting, so the writer chose to use the HTML format for email. We're gonna start look at the best practices. We're gonna look at the subject, digital video player, answers to your question. Look, the subject line contains the key term the reader will recognize and probably use to retrieve the email later. If necessary, it contains words describing what it is in the email that will be of interest to the reader. And you will look here, he used two parts in the title. He used digital video player, the topic, and he used the second part, illegal controlling answers to your question. Then the writer started with the hello Ben. Thanks for your helpful email explaining your department's plans for the new digital video system. As always, your explanation was clear and provided what we need. This is the introductory paragraph or the opening paragraph of the email. So the email begins with a cordial salutation and genuine thanks for something the reader did. That helps build the sense of working as a team and lets the reader know what he did. That helped the writer so the reader will more likely repeat the helpful behavior in the future. And it states the reader's previous email was clear and helpful, so this is a feedback in the quality of emails, helps everyone adjust them to fit the reader's needs. So this is the best practice. It contributes to a corporate culture of expecting quality in writing. What else? He started the second paragraph or the body of the email by mentioning, you asked me two questions about the digital video player. Number one, how will the digital video player work with the various types of digital video? Number two, what are our plans for having the system ready by January? So the writer here explains why the reader is receiving now, and even if this email is in direct response to the reader's request, this statement ensures that the reader recalls the request. He understands the request. So the reader should not have to revert to another email or the thread of emails at the end to remember why he's receiving this email. At the beginning, he starts to make it clear why the reader is supposed to read this email. Then, the email states the reader's request exactly as the reader worded it. وهذه من best practice. It is one of the best practice. Listing the two questions the reader asks using the reader's words, and the writer separates her statement of the reader's questions with blank lines and indents them, make a space at the beginning to make them clear, standing in a clear position. And he started, my answer follows. So the writer states the contents of this email. My answers follow. I understand your comment about needing non-technical explanations to pass along to others in your department. Let me know whether the following explanations work for you. Your comments will help me now and in the future to provide useful explanation for your new projects group. So the writer restates the condition the readers imposed. A non-technical explanation. The writer asks for feedback about explanation to learn whether it fits the reader's needs and to encourage the readers to provide feedback freely later. So that enables the writer to learn how to write for her reader and ensures the reader is receiving what he wants and helps create a corporate climate in which people freely give one another feedback or writing. It also shows the reader that this writer is genuinely concerned with giving him what he wants. And you look here in bolded how well the digital video player work with various types of digital videos. The digital video player will play various types of digital video by transforming the video it receives into a form it can play. To do this, the system will contain 6 programs we call templates that will change. So the writer here breaks for each new thought so the reader can follow the message easily, clearly, briefly, precisely. So the writer states the first question on a line by itself, bolded and indented to act as a heading for the explanation that follows that section. It is written exactly as the introduction stated it, which is exactly as the readers asked it. So the question begins with a number. And look at what else. He continues the explanation under this heading, and he concludes that section. If you would like to know more about the templates, let me know. I can also give you a more technical explanation of how they work. What is written in this section? The writer indents her explanation to the level of the bolded question to display as an answer to the question. The non-technical explanation using plain English words, the writer has judged that the reader should know what template means for the future use in their dialogues, so she presents it and defines it. The writer uses six uh, for the templates rather than a factor such as the several or some. Business writing should always use exact numbers when the numbers are non unclear from the beginning. The explanation repeats the key terms without changing them, like digital, types of digital, transforming, templates, the system. And the writer offers a more technical explanation if the reader wants it, rather than includes the technical explanation, which would have added bulk to the message and make it worthy. In number 2, what are our plans for having the system ready by January? These are the steps in our plan to ensure that the system is ready by January. A. Our group will finish the design and begin programming on September 15. We will finish programming by November 1. So the writer breaks the second question and repeats it exactly as appeared in the introductory section, or in the introduction and in the reader's request. An opening to the list in dentist, we call it an opening transitional sentence. What is the next steps in our plan? So the writer breaks the steps in the plan into an indented numbered list using lowercase letters as a second level list markers. All sentences in the steps are complete sentences with no words omitted. They begin with capitals and end with full stop. And he completed the list by C, D, E, as you look at that. So the writer skips blank lines between the items in the list to make them clear, separated, and sentences are clear, straightforward, and generally short. The writer used capitals and punctuation as she would use for any business document. The explanation used plain everyday language the writer might use if speaking. These all what makes the email professional. Then he concluded with this: let me know if you need any other information. We are looking forward to working with you to create a great project. So the document ends with an offer to provide more information if the reader wants it, and a cordial closing. And he said, Gene Bosner at blueview.com X3482. So the writer includes contact information so the reader can contact her easily anytime. All these what we called an explicit email, and that's what I like you students to practice in your writing, whether you are writing the email for internal or external business communication. We will continue explaining the best practices for this, and we will continue